Welcome to Search Talk Live with search engine optimization and marketing experts Robert O'Haver and Caleb McKelvin, powered by the Robert Palmer family of companies.
Well, I'm Robert O'Haver, expert in SEO and search engine marketing. With me today is Caleb McKelvin. Caleb?
One and only. How you doing today, Rob?
Good, man. Enjoying the week. It's been quite hectic, but
Been a little crazy, but ready to talk some SEO.
Yeah, man. Today we're going to talk about. We're going to go over kind of a tutorial on the air about how to use Google Webmaster Tools, and we're also going to be taking calls for any questions regarding search engine marketing or search engine optimization. The number to call here is 855-722-0006. Again, the number is 855-722-0006.
Yeah, we had some good calls last week, Rob, and we're hoping to get the same this week. We are going to talk about Webmaster Tools today, but like always, we love talking about anything SEO. So if you got questions, you got concerns, you got topics that you want to talk about, call in, and we'll talk about them. Right,
and let's go over. If you're not in front of your computer right now, why don't you get in front of your computer? I'm going to give you a little bit of time here to get ready. And log into your Google Webmaster Tools, and we're going to go over that, step by step, and kind of, walk you through the whole process and what each thing means and all that good stuff. Because I think this is really important, because this is the tool that Google uses to communicate with you and tell you what's wrong with your site, what's going on in your world as far as your website goes.
Yeah, Rob. I mean, some people may hear Webmaster Tools, they may think, well, that's kind of basic, but it might be basic, but it is kind of astonishing how many people misread or underutilize their Webmaster Tools. And so kind of just getting a refresher course if you've already, if you're already interacting with it, or if you haven't even started, how to get started and what Webmaster Tools is going to do for you is always a good topic to discuss.
Absolutely. And what we're also, for those of you that are just tuning in, we're also broadcasting live on Periscope.
Yeah.
So you can watch us in video and see what we look like, place a face with a name, and go over all those.
That way we can rename the show Digital Handsome Duo.
I don't know about that. But give us some hearts if you're on Periscope. I think we can... Do you have anything you want to touch on before we get started while everybody's getting ready with their booting up their computer and whatever?
No, I hope everybody's getting up their Webmaster Tools, or, just pulling up Webmaster Tools in general. And maybe we can walk some people through getting started for it, or, gain some new insight for those who are using it. But no, if you're on Periscope, if you've never used Periscope, which I'm not an active user for it, but I did download it to check out some things. It's a pretty cool thing. So we're going to utilize it today so we can interact with the show, and I highly suggest that you download it and check it out.
Yeah, because you can actually ask us questions right there as we're broadcasting. You can see us, listen to the show, everything. It's quite.
Yep, it's very interactive.
Awesome.
Very interactive. It's very cool, and everybody needs to get on it, check out the Digital Duo.
Okay, so I think we're going to get started. We got enough time for everybody. I'm going to hand this over to Caleb so I can use my hands. What we're going to do is start out, you log into Webmaster Tools, and the first thing you're going to be on is your dashboard. Now, those of you that are familiar with this, you have three different sets of columns, if you want to call it that. But you have one that says crawl errors, one that says search analytics, and sitemap. Now, that's basically just an overview. Now we're going to dig into each page and what it does. Now, right below the dashboard on the left-hand side, you're going to see messages. The messages screen is basically your communication with Google. Obviously, you can't email them, but this is when they tell you, hey, you got a manual penalty, or your site's blocked from search engines, so they can't index your site, or if it's, maybe it's not mobile friendly. They'll let you all know all this stuff, and if there's any critical issues with your site.
Yeah, I mean, that goes into being a good site owner and a good SEO, is to be able to, they're basically telling you, hey, here's the issue, here's what's going on. And if you're not monitoring that, you could find yourself in a world of hurt. So they're giving you a heads up on what they're finding and basically what you need to fix. So that messages piece of Webmaster Tools, that's how Google's going to communicate with you. That's how they're going to tell you what's going on with your site. Could be good or bad. But, if you do see a message in your inbox, don't automatically think, oh, no, the world is on fire. But, they're going to contact you. They're going to interact with you, and they're going to tell you what's going on with your site.
Right. Now, you could share that around the room. I don't want to be the one always.
It's all on you.
All right. So we're talking about Periscope. Sorry. The next tab you're going to see is search appearance. And in search appearance, you're going to get 4 different tabs. One, structured data, data highlighter, HTML improvements, and site links. Okay. Now we're going to go the first one, which is structured data. That's your schema.org markup. And it's going to show you if there's any issues on that page. You're going to see certain things like, if you have, schema markup on your site as far as video objects, reviews, any of those things, and let you know if you have any errors or maybe the schema is not written correctly, and you can fix those. And it tells you what page they're on. If you dig down deep, there's a little where it says data type. You can click in there, and it'll show you the pages where you're having the errors at.
For those, Robert, who are not really knowledgeable in what schema is, can you give kind of like a short definition to give them a little insight?
Nope. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. That works.
Schema.org is a markup language. It tells Google, it's basically, it gives like, I am not a professional on this, but I do use it. You can use it to get, like for videos, you can give it a back-end title and description of what the video is, because Google can't crawl videos, obviously.
Right.
So it's you can mark that information up in the schema.org in the back end in the code of the site.
Yep.
So that gives you that information. It tells you, what the video is about, the title of the video, that type of thing, or it could be customer reviews, that type of thing. Yeah, but you'll have to look into it. It's schema.org. SCHEA. No.
EMA.
EMA.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
.org.
Thank you. Okay, and then let's see. The next one is a data highlighter. This is a really cool thing. If you have a site that shows events, and this may not pertain to your site, but if you have like, an event site, like there's a 5K next week or something like that, you can use this data highlighter to. You don't have to use any code or anything. You just go into it to set it up, and it'll embed your site in this frame of the Webmaster Tools. And then what it does is you just highlight information such as the date, the day, the day of the event, the description of the event, or even the title, and it'll automatically mark up the information on the site, which is really awesome. Which is, again, it's schema.org that they use. But it's definitely good, because what'll happen is when you use the data highlighter, it'll take that and put it in the search results. So if somebody's looking for that event, or is looking for a local event, then it's going to show up in SERPs, in the search engine results.
That's definitely big for local businesses. If you are very active with your community, this is something you can definitely utilize, and it's going to enhance the views on your event. So if you really want to get it out there, this is something you definitely need to look into.
Yeah, I mean, if your company's doing the corporate 5K, or you're at a convention, selling your products or whatever, you can do that highlighter on your site, and it'll mark it up for you.
Yeah.
HTML improvements. That's if Google detects anything that's an error on your site, this is one of the places that will put that information. I've never had it populate very too often. It's usually in the other parts of the search console. But that Periscope's throwing me off. So yeah, if there's no information, you're good to go so far. And then next is site links. Site links is one what Google on occasion will show in the search results. You'll have your home page, and then it might show a contact page or a products page. It's really random, but you can go in and actually put demote one of the pages. So you say, okay, Google, I know you don't do this all the time, but when you do show these different links on the site, you're going to want to, if you want to demote something, that means you don't want it to show up in the site links. And this is where you do it. You just put in the URL and then hit demote, and then Google won't show that in the search results anymore.
Just a question, Robert. Maybe our viewers have. Why would you want to demote a link?
It could be something that doesn't exist, or it's past, it's old, or it's just not good quality content, or something like that.
Right.
But for the most part, I don't know a lot of people that use it. But this next section we're going into, the search traffic, this is the one I use on pretty much a daily basis.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a lot of great information, especially as an SEO. But if you have any questions, please give us a call at 855-722-0006. Again, that's 855-722-0006. My name is Robert O'Haver. I've been doing search engine marketing for over 13 years, and Caleb McKelvin. Can we give him a little bit of your background?
Yeah. I've been doing search engine marketing for a little over 3 years now, so not as much of a veteran as you are, but yeah, I got my feet wet. I know a little bit of what I'm doing, so.
So put in your questions on Periscope if you like. We are looking at the screen right now, and it's really throwing me for a loop, but or you can tweet us. You can ask your Twitter questions by doing #DigitalDuo. You can also contact us on Twitter. But let me go back into this. I just wanted to throw out the number there. So if you want to call in, you can ask your questions. Again, it's 855-722-0006.
There it is.
Yeah. Now, this one is the search traffic. Search traffic is the main, meat of your site. This is the great information. Like for the first one is going to be search analytics. Now, this page here is so important as an SEO because this page tells you where you rank on certain keywords. Now, it gives you they have a new layout screen. I don't like to use it. If you look up in the left hand, right where it says Search Analytics Beta, there's a go back to old search queries. That's what I like to use because it gives you a lot more data to me. But if you look at that, you're going to see it's going to show you the keyword you rank for, or where it's at, how many impressions that keyword has gotten since you've been in that position, clicks, click-through rate, and then the average position that is. Now you can actually, on the left-hand side, you'll see download this table, download chart data, and basic, and then with changes. So you want to hit the with changes, and what that does is it shows you, where your site was and where it's, over time, how much it's come up in the search results.
Well, that's very valuable information. And being able to interpret what that means as far as your content goes and what your website's providing for the user, you have a lot of information right there. So I know we're always wondering, where we're ranking for keywords, how much progress have we made? Are people finding me? Are they clicking on, my site when it comes up to specific keywords? What is going on with the users? How am I being viewed? Am I being viewed? Am I showing up? Any of that kind of stuff. You basically have it all right here, right in front of you. And how you interpret that information moving forward is going to have a big impact on the success of your site.
Absolutely. And then now you have a couple of things in here in information-wise. You have the impressions. What impression is each time your search result has shown up in a search result. You know what I mean? Each time somebody types in a search and that your query comes up organically, which means naturally in the search results, that's how many times it was, in view of someone there. And then you have the changes. It'll give you a percentage wise of, the change in the rankings.
Yeah. And, if you see a big drop off, you might want to go back and analyze that page or that post or whatever's going on. I mean, it's basically talking to you right there, and there's going to be a specific reason on why that page has a drop off and what's going on with it. So, you're always wondering, if any of you SEOs were out there wondering, well, what do I need to do out there twiddling your thumbs or what's going on? Then, here's your tasks right here, because there's going to be changes. That's one thing that's going to be consistent, is there's going to be changes. The more green and up arrows and positives you see, of course, the better, but that's not always the case. You're going to see areas where you need to improve, and this is going to show you where that needs to be.
Yeah, and you can click on each tab where it says impressions, clicks, changed, click-through rate, average position. You can click on that. It'll sort it by descending or the other way. And then the next one you have changes, and you can sort that by, let's see where you're getting the most changes from.
Yeah.
So, and then also you can do is, if you go over to the left where the keyword is, you can actually click on the keyword, and it'll give you kind of a more detailed information as far as what page it lands on, what page it is, it's ranking for that.
One thing I think you're going to be surprised to see if you aren't really monitoring this is that you may think that you're focusing on one specific keyword, but you see that for one page, but you might see that, it's the keyword that you're actually showing for, or people are actually getting to through this different keyword landing on this page. It's going to be completely different. And I think that's one indication of how searches and SERPs are really changing to a more like we talked last week, a more conversational aspect, and it's more natural speaking, and it's not keyword specific anymore. It is, it's more natural, and people are really more conversational when they're searching for things, and you might actually have a better chance of ranking for that other than the specific keyword that you're focusing on.
Well said, Caleb. I need a selfie stick for this thing.
We need something.
All right, so
we're
now
making it work, though.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question on that. You also have at the top corner, you have a filter. If you're looking for a specific keyword in here, you can actually it says queries and it's containing, and in that containing you can put, say you're looking for a specific word or phrase that you want to rank for. It'll filter out everything but everything that contains that particular keyword. Okay, and you can also show, up to 500 rows at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that you can also filter by location, United States, different countries, traffic queries, queries with more than 10 impressions, and that type of stuff.
I think this is really where you can get feedback on if you have a specific strategy for either it's a certain location, a certain demographic, whatever it may be. This is where you can really get feedback on whether that's working or not. And if you need to adjust it moving forward, if you just need to fine tune it, or if you just need to throw it in the trash and start over, I think this is really where you can get hands on with it and get your hands dirty and really assess how your strategy is performing and where you need to move on from here.
Right. Next we have, you also on the right-hand side, you have a date range. You can set that date range up to about, I believe it's a year, or actually it's less than a year, I think. But anyway, you can set your date range to see what it's been like for, whatever set date range. And then at the top left-hand side, you also have top pages. Now this gives you where most of your traffic is coming from, or to, not from. This will tell you, your home page is getting most of the traffic, or your, this page or that page. And then it'll give you can click on each link and it'll give you the actual page. So you can see, where you need to tweak. So it's a good thing, like, if you see yourself just on the second page and you need to tweak that page a little bit, you can do that just by looking at this. And if you see it fluctuate up and down as far as, ranks, you can tweak those particular pages just by looking at that. Okay. Next one. This is an important thing because with Google, they kind of have what's called a popularity contest. When Google looks at a site, it says, to get that popularity, how many links, it's kind of like how many fans do you have, basically.
How many kids want to hang out with you?
Right. And that's how Google determines if your site is worth it, is good quality by people linking to your site.
Yeah.
So under links to your site, you have who links to you, which basically tells you what domains link to your website, where they come from, and you can even drill down into, specific pages you're linking from, or to, and then how many links you've got from each domain. Now, Google only counts the first link or one link from each domain.
Yeah.
So,
if you get, a lot of people think, well, okay, I got a bunch of links from the same site. That's not the case. It's really only going to count. They could be very important, especially if they're from high authority sites, but it's only going to count it for one vote. This isn't, where you can vote for the same thing over and over and over again to increase your chances. That's not how it's going to work with them. So you might see one site and you might have 150 links from them, but it's only going to count one time. So it looks good, but just remember it's only going to count one time.
All right, I just gave everybody a tour on Periscope of the
the Digital Duo Theater.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead and shut broadcast off from Periscope because this is kind of a hard task to do, teaching you guys something and then broadcasting at the same time.
We'll figure it out next show.
So those on Periscope, we just want to sign off and say bye to you. But
thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.
All right, so now back to it. Once you're on that page, you can go and click on any particular domain that links to you, and then it'll tell you where it links. If you click on that domain, it'll tell you what page it's linking to, and then you can download that information as well.
Yeah,
into a CSV or PDF.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before. The most important links pretty much are the ones that you didn't even know you've gotten, and that's because your content's really good and people are wanting to link to you. And so this is where you can really assess, if not too many people are linking to your content, or you don't have a good backlink profile, this is going to tell you, and this is where you might want to do a little bit of work. And I'm not saying go out there and pay $5 for links and get 1,000 for the month or anything like that, but you might want to invest some time to earning those links, do a little link earning, and see what you can do with your content, and really beef up your content and reach out to your social media audiences, but get your content out there, and this could be an area where you could really help yourself if your backlink profile is not efficient.
Why don't you give out that number, Caleb?
Oh yeah, my bad. We're talking about Webmaster Tools here on the Digital Duo Show. Kind of going through it a little bit. The number is 855-722-0006. 855-722-0006. If you want to talk about Webmaster Tools, go ahead, call in. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, we'd love to hear them. Or if you want to talk about anything else, SEO, digital marketing, PPC even. Rob is a PPC expert. I'll give him credit on that one. Social media, anything else, then, call in. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Now back to the same, we're on the same page, links to your site. And there's an overview that says all domains. That's where we're at. So, and if you want to this is just a sample of what links you have that are most important that Google has on here. You can download more sample links to that right next at the top up there. But if you hit the back button and you go back to the main screen, you have your most linked content. If you're a article site, this is a really important place for you to go because you can see where your traffic's coming to. So on that page, it's going to show you the particular pages where most of the links are going to. Like this particular one I'm looking at, it's mostly the links are coming to the homepage. But yeah, that's pretty much all that data here. And again, you can also set the date range, and you can not the date range. I'm sorry. You can download set how many rows you have to view.
Yeah.
And you can also download the more samples of that and the information, so you can actually manipulate the data in like Excel or something. And then if you go back again, we've got how your data is linked. Now, what this is the anchor text that is linking to your site. So if a site is linking to you, the anchor text basically is the text that has the link. So if you click on that text, that's the link that links to your site. Mm-hmm. That's an anchor text. So here you can get a variation. And as an SEO, it's very important that you keep a variation of your anchor text.
Yes.
So you want to keep an eye on this so that way you can see the diversity you have.
Yeah.
As far as links go. If
you're going out and doing a little link building or link earning, and you might be doing writing a guest post for somebody, or however you are earning these links to your site, if you recognize that it's the same keyword over and over again, you might want to mix that up a little bit and do a little more natural.
Definitely.
Because you keep pounding that keyword over and over and over again, it's going to throw some red flags up. And, like we said, you want to be as conversational as natural. I think that one thing that's important to consider is that when they're crawling these sites and they're recognizing the content, they really take the content that's around that link and put it into context on what that one's talking about and why it's linking to it. So that's one thing to consider, that you don't really necessarily have to go so specific with your anchor text.
It's funny. We're looking at my site, and I have a link that's it says shy individual.
Well, all right.
That's funny. I don't know where that's coming from.
You might find some weird things when you look in your Webmaster Tools, which don't be alarmed at it, because, people can link to you. You always don't know who's linking to you or how they're linking to you or why they're wanting to link to you, but I guess they want to link to Rob for shy individual, which he's not.
No, not at all. Now, Definitely as an SEO or even a site owner, you want to keep an eye on this, because the diversity is key. You don't want to have exact match anchor text, all over the place. That's you just one set of phrase keywords. So definitely keep an eye on that part. And this has actually gotten a lot better, because used to Google would only give you one word of what the anchor text really was. So definitely an improvement there. Now, the next tab we're going to go over is internal links. These are links that are in your site going from page to page and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Not too much of an important thing. You can do a search if you have a site with 1,000 pages or whatever, you can go in here and search for certain links and look for broken links.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's one important thing is broken links is going to be huge on and off your page. If people are linking to you and the link is broken, then you definitely want to know that. And if you have broken links on your page, it's definitely something you want to fix, because you are messing up the user experience for the user.
Right.
And that's something we, of course, talk about consistently. And you might get tired of hearing about it, but we cannot put any more emphasis than we already are on how much the user experience, the importance of it. And so, broken links is going to be a big thing. But like Rob said, internal linking is, it's not this huge strategy that you're going to have. Certain things can be very important depending on the site you have. But, if you're linking to yourself all over the place, you want to clean that up.
Yeah, and this is a good place to also look at your links that you've set up on your site, and maybe you see a mistake or something, you can go back and fix that, and then maybe redirect to the changes.
Yeah.
The next one is something nobody wants, and that's manual actions. There's now a section just for manual actions. This is where you'll go, and if you ever see a 1 or a 2 by it, you're in trouble. This is where Google will send you a notification saying you have done something wrong, whether it be, link spamming or, maybe your site's got all spammy. It might be a panda action or penguin, or usually it's usually the penguin. But this is where you'll go for that.
Yeah, you don't want to see anything in that area. Usually it's not a good information or a good alert. So, but if you do, take care of it as soon as possible.
Yep.
That's something you definitely want to take care of. Whatever you're working on, you need to make it number one priority and get it taken care of, whenever the repercussions can be pretty nasty.
Yep. Now the next one is international targeting. This is for sites that do international targeting, and they should be using what's called an hreflang. What that does is it tells you, that there's another site in a different language, or different pages or a translation to this. I'm sorry, no. If your site is in Africa and you speak Afrikaans or something like that, it's an hreflang, and it tells Google that the site is in that language for that language.
Can be really crucial if you do reach out to an international audience and you don't have this, then you could run into some problems. So it's a simple fix. It's something that is definitely necessary. So you definitely want to check in on that.
Right. And the next one over is country. You want to check that targeting users in whatever country or state you're in. So you'll want to make sure that that's checked if you're in the U.S., obviously U.S. If you're targeting users in Africa, like the guy we were talking to last week, he's targeting people that listen to African music.
Yeah.
You might want to target, Africa.
If you got questions for us, any concerns, any topics you want to cover, call in 855-722-0006, 855-722-0006. We promise not to bite. You can call on in, and whatever you want to talk about. We're talking about Webmaster Tools right now, and if you got some comments on that or questions on that, we'd love to discuss it with you and help you out. Or if you want to talk anything else, digital marketing, SEO, social media, call on in. Anything but relationship advice we will talk about.
Yeah, definitely can't give that. Also, you'll notice on this page, it's very important to read each page because there's a little notation at the bottom that says add your business to Google Maps. This is really important because this is another way that Google will track and figure out where your site's located. So definitely Google Maps, Google Business, you want to add all that. Because that gives them a more idea of if you're a local business, if you're national, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, if you got a building, then you need to have that set up for your Google My Business. Might seem like a small thing, but it's an important one.
Right. Okay, and the next one is mobile usability. This is pretty easy to explain. This is going to tell Google, hey, your site's mobile friendly or it's not. And basically, in this day and age, your site needs to be mobile friendly. Google prefers a responsive, which means it shrinks to whatever size device you're on. But you can, you want to make sure your site is mobile friendly.
It is insane how everything is going mobile. Everything we're doing is mobile. I actually read an article the other day that a guy sold his house by himself from start to finish, all on his phone, which is absolutely crazy that people are going all mobile with everything and what these devices are capable of. And so this is definitely a huge one, being able to have your site optimized for mobile and available for that, because I think as we move forward, it's going to grow, increase on how important it is for rankings.
Yeah, it's so close to overtaking desktop users.
Yeah, it really almost is, especially, how people are interacting with social media. Everything is through your phone. They're clicking on, they're reading articles, they're getting updates, they're getting this, they're getting that. Pretty much it seems like only people are on their desktop when they're at work and they're doing work. Everything else is going to be mobile, and I think that's going to increase as we move forward. So making sure that your website is optimized for mobile. If you don't know that right now, that's something you need to check on as soon as possible for your users. Yeah.
And I'd have to say everything that going search analytics below is something I probably go to just about every day. But the next one is Google Index. And this is important. This tells you, if you go to the index status, it's going to tell you how many pages are indexed, versus your sitemap. Say your sitemap has 50, but it's only indexed 40. Then you have 3 pages that have not, for some reason, been indexed. And it could be many reasons. It could be, that's blocked, or, that it just hasn't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
But that way you can, at a glance see how that's going. And you also, if you go to the Advanced tab, there is a list here, too, that will download. You can download, and it shows you what's blocked by robots text, and again, total index stuff, and then site pages that were removed. I'm having trouble talking today. Again, the number to call in is 855-722-0006. Again, it's 855-722-0006. And we are taking live calls right now, so pick up your phone and give us a call. It's toll free. Okay, well, back to the next tab, which is content keywords. Now, this is important. This is what Google's looking when it looks at your page, and it gives you, it's your kind of keyword penetration, I would say. Whatever your site is, you're going to see, these levels. It'll say, I see X amount of, the word, search or whatever it may be. And then it'll give you, if you click on the keyword or the word, it's going to give you a breakdown of each page that have these different words on it and how many times it occurs, that type of thing. Okay, and then you can see more if you go click down. It says show more keywords. That's kind of obvious. I don't have to tell you that part. And then next we have, let's see, I think that covers everything on that tab. Blocked resources. Now this is going to tell you, wait for it to load. My internet keeps going in and out. This is going to show you resources that are blocked and what they are, particularly. If you click on the domain, then you break it down more. Usually, like if it's a WordPress or something, you're going to see a lot of plugins and stuff that are blocked, and jQuery, that type of stuff. Okay, next we have remove URLs. This tool is for you, like if you have a page that you've deleted or no longer exists on your website, you can go here and request to have Google remove that from the search engine results. You can do that, or you can 301 redirect that to another page. Most people, if it's something they can't find that matches and they're redirecting it to, they'll usually just delete it off so Google doesn't have that in the search results. Okay, crawl. Now, this is important too, guys. This is the crawl section. Okay, next we're going to talk about crawl errors. Now, crawl errors is very important. It's something that you should really watch, quite often, at least a couple times a week when Google spiders your site. This is going to give you a lot of information both for smartphones and desktop. Now, when you load that, if you have errors, you're going to see a tab called server errors. Now, what that is if something happened, something happened with the server when it was processing your download, the page you were trying to go see, and you're going to have a list there of the URL where the error occurred. You could get a 500 error, and you can look up all these different error codes online just by Googling, server errors, that type of thing. And then also you have what is called soft 404 or 404 errors. What that is when when somebody goes to a page, it's not there anymore. It's totally gone. So this is important because, you might have you might have a page that has links coming from another site to that particular page that was either deleted or is for some reason not there anymore. And you want to make sure that you redirect those with a 301 redirect if there is links to them, because if it's a 404, it won't pass the link juice to help you rank. So you'll put a 404 in something like WordPress. It's really easy. You can use something like Redirection, which is a plugin, and it's very simple to use. If you don't have that, I would recommend getting it if you have a lot of pages on your site that have been moved around. But the main thing is make sure that goes to, and wherever that page was moved to, you redirect that to it. If it's a page that doesn't have any links or didn't have any links to it, then you can obviously just go to Google, that tool I showed you earlier that will remove the URL, and you can remove that from, have Google remove it from the search results. But you can also, when you're in that 404 section, you'll see a list of pages that are showing as 404. If you click on that URL, it's going to give you a little box, and it's going to show you the exact URL, and you can actually click on it and go to that page or where it was once existed. And then there's also a tab that says, well, there's error details, and this will give you all the details on that 404 and what the deal is. It's also going to show you if it's in the sitemap. If it's in the sitemap and you need to remove it, that's going to tell you that, hey, this link's still in the sitemap, but it doesn't exist. And then the next tab over, once you click over that, you're going to see linked from. Now, this will usually be an external URL. It might be an internal URL, but if there's an external URL there's another site that's linking to that, and you want to get that credit for your site. So you want to change that, 404 to either putting a page back there or, 301, doing a 301 redirect. Okay. And then there's also the next tab at the top. Once you close that window, there's a tab that says not found, and we're under desktop right now. It's the same thing. These are all 404 errors, and you follow the same steps you would just like the soft 404s. In that way, you can redirect them or, come up with a strategy to fix those issues. And if there's links to them and that page doesn't pertain to your site anymore, you can also just at least redirect it to the home page. Okay, and then once you're done and you fix those issues, you just check the left-hand side and check all of them, and then there's a red button that says Mark as Fixed, and that'll fix the issue. Okay, and then at the very, very top, not the exact top, but under URL errors, you'll see desktop and smartphone. If you click on smartphone, you're going to get basically the same report. It'll tell you if there's errors in the the mobile page it's on, or if it doesn't exist anymore, and then you just follow the same steps. Okay, and now we'll move on. Crawl status. Crawl status shows how much Google is indexing your site, how many times it hits a page, the frequency. So like, you have a high, on average, it'll hit 20 pages on the average. No, I'm sorry. On the high end, it'll index 20 pages at one time. On average, it's 2 for this particular one I'm looking at right now. And that covers that. This is, and it'll give you a last 90 days activity on that. And then fetches a Google bot. This is so that if you want to check on a desktop or a mobile version of your site, you can say, Googlebot, go out and look at my site. Is there any issues with this particular page? Or can you index it? Is it blocked? And that type of thing. It's just kind of a checks and balances for your site.
Always good to use.
Yeah.
Always good to use.
Now, next one is Robots Text Tester. The Robots text file is usually a file that is something you use to tell Google, I don't want to index this particular directory in my site or this particular page. It's usually to block a directory. Like if in WordPress you want to block, plugins and that type of thing. And this is just a test. You can actually see if it's working or if it's in place. And that's basically it. If it shows something, you can also you can submit a new robots text file if you don't have one. Okay. And then next we have sitemaps, and this I recommend every webmaster must have a sitemap on their site. This is where a lot of people forget. This is so important because what this does is it gives Google basically a roadmap to your site. It says where all the pages are and what needs to be indexed.
Yeah.
And by submitting this, your site's going to be indexed so much faster. I mean, it could be a matter of days as opposed to weeks if you don't submit a sitemap.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically letting the Google bots wonder with no light, no direction if you're not submitting your sitemap. So you might as well lay the road in front of them, and it's going to make things a lot easier. Just like Rob said, it could be days or even weeks, and you could be checking to see if that if you're showing up or if it's indexing those pages. And if you don't have a sitemap, you're going to be checking for a long time. But if you do, you're gonna see that bounce back here pretty shortly.
Yeah, and Google's got really fast at indexing these things. If you submit it to them, and usually in worst I've seen in the last couple of months is a week, and that's it's usually 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
And then at the right-hand side, you'll see if you need to submit it, you just click that little red button that says Add Test Sitemap, and you can add that sitemap URL. It's usually located in the root of your website. It's usually sitemap.xml. And And if you're using WordPress, you can get that generated automatically if you're using like Yoast or something like that. You just need to submit it in your Webmaster Tools. Let's see. And you can put as many as you want. Sitemap, usually you don't want to have more than 50,000. Wait, 50,000? 50,000 URLs per sitemap. I could be wrong. I think that's what it is.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. We'll just call it that. Not too many people have 50,000 pages, but they're out there.
If you do, doing some work.
Okay. Now, the next one is URL parameters. Now, this is where you can add parameters. Say, like, if you're doing advertising on AdWords and you're using strings, information strings at the end of your URL, usually you'll see like a question mark equals add blah, blah, blah. Whatever you're tracking, you give this information to Google so it knows what that tracking code, if it sees it, what it is and what it's for. The one thing they're trying to watch out for is people use cloaking techniques where they'll throw in a different string of URL to present a different looking page than what Google looks at. So they want to know if they index a page that has that kind of whatever is in it, if it's tracking ads or if it's changing parameters on your site, you need to let Google know what it is and what it's for. Okay, let's see. We're almost done here. I know it's probably kind of boring if this is not your thing, but we definitely think it's important to webmasters, and I think sharing this and you kind of walking through it with us, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, for sure. It might be a little boring, but using it effectively is going to have a lot of you're going to have a lot of success with it in your site. So
yeah. Now, next we have security issues. This is where Google will tell you if your site's been hacked. So this is really important too. Usually you'll see a little one show up or something if there's an issue with your site. And there's been a lot of hacking on sites lately going on. So, it's good to, that's why it's so important to be a part of Webmaster Tools when you have a site, because without it, you really wouldn't know, a lot of this stuff. And then, let's see. And then there's also on the other resources tab, that's the last tab. It's going to give you all kinds of tutorials and resources to use as how to do markup in email and Google Businesses and Merchant Center, videos, tutorials on how to do certain things. And there's also on the right top-hand side, there's a help button. So Google's been really good at providing support with this. Obviously, you can't call them. But as far as they have a knowledge base you can go to and get pretty much any of the information you're looking for on Webmaster Tools. And best of all, this is free. This is not something you have to go and pay a monthly fee for. So I highly recommend, if you own a site, you have to have Webmaster Tools.
Yep, definitely, absolutely. I mean, there's kind of no ins and ifs, buts about it. It's something that
you're hanging out with me too much.
I'm telling you, I can't talk. It's something you need to do, and it's something you need to utilize for your website. There's so much that you can do with it, and there's so much that you can take away from it, and there's so much you can do to better help your site moving forward, that if you're not using it, you're kind of cutting off your left arm and not helping yourself. Just from finding new opportunities to, learning about your top pages, what's working, what's not working. The feedback that you get from this tool is just crazy. And, being able to, I know we're just kind of scratching the surface and we're going into a little detail, but there's so much that you can benefit from this site, from this tool. Once again, phone number 855-722-0006, 855-722-0006. Talk about Webmaster Tools. And anything else SEO that you would like to discuss. If you're having issues with your site, got any questions, any concerns, anything you want to talk about, SEO, digital marketing, social media, we are up for the task. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we can, I've pretty much covered everything in the Search Console with Google Webmaster Tools. There is, you can have multiple sites in here. just a great resource for webmasters. And I think next week we'll probably go over some analytics, high level, just to kind of give you the basics on Google Analytics. I think that's a good tutorial. It might put you to sleep, but it's definitely going to be good information. We're talking geek here, so
yeah.
Caleb, you got something you want to add? What else could we talk about today?
Oh, man.
I think it's a good time for callers. If you want to call in, please give us a call.
Awesome time for callers. We do love calls. Coming up with topics to talk about throughout the entire hour. It can be a little challenging sometimes.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We had I had last week in my meetup group, I had Rand Fishkin. I'm sorry, not Rand Fishkin. Barry Schwartz in answering questions, and if you're listening, I really appreciate you coming in and doing that.
Yeah, he was very insightful, very helpful, answered some key questions, and I think anybody that was there greatly benefited from what he had to say.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of good answers and kind of gave us a lot of insight, even as a professional at this.
Yeah.
But
he's very up to date on what's going on with SEO, which is very challenging. It seems like SEO changes every single day.
Yeah.
So he's very up to date with it. Writes a lot of great stuff. Very interactive on Twitter. If you haven't found him on Twitter, go find him on Twitter, because if anybody from Google puts out something, or if he's got a question, he's not afraid to ask it or tell it. And, he'll get some answers. So not promoting any specific person, but he's very insightful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's some strange things happened on Friday. There was something, Google has not admitted to this, but there was a search engine, there wasn't some kind of thing going on with algorithms, because lots of people talking about, seeing upticks in their analytics and rankings, and then, then others, obviously, in the Black Hat forums saying how much their site has dropped in traffic. So
Yeah.
They're obviously tweaking something or testing.
Yeah, they're changing some stuff up, and I think people saw some results from that, some differing results, moving up, moving down. So, and if anybody's from Google out there, if you want to call in and tell us what's going on, we'd appreciate it.
I'm going to be asking John next week, John Mueller, about some of this stuff. I got him coming in and kind of speaking to a crowd of people, but I have so many questions for him. But it's just kind of weird how, Google has said, no, we haven't released anything. So maybe it's the last remnants of Panda releasing, because it said it was going to be pretty slow disseminating. Anyway, the number to call is 855-722-0006. We are taking calls right now, so if you are listening, please call in. We have about 10 minutes left in the show, so we can talk about anything on your mind. Okay, well, I think we're going to end the show a little early today, but I appreciate everybody listening and your support. You can find Caleb on Twitter at
CJ_MCE.
And I'm at Robert, RobertOhaver. Thanks again for listening to episode 9.
Number 10's coming next week.
Yeah, big one.
Search Talk Live is a presentation of the Robert Palmer family of companies.